Hey, all right, we are live, and today I'm going to be showing you the #1 stretch that I know for spinal decompression that helps the entire spine. A few things about stretching. We'll wait for some people to get on here. The camera is kind of far away, so I can't really see who's hopping on right now. But when you do hop on, please leave where you're checking in from, and if you have any questions about your spine or any issues that might be going on, we'd love to hear it in the comment section below. So again, today I'm talking about the #1 stretch that I know for spinal decompression. And so before any stretching, you always want to warm up, especially the type of stretching that we're doing today. There's different types of stretching. There's dynamic stretching, which is more ballistic movements that get you warmed up. We're going to be doing a few exercises with her today that you can do to actually loosen up your hips, will help reduce your back pain. And then I'm going to do that #1 stretch on her, and you guys can try it out. You can follow along. You can do it later, however you want to do it. So the first thing I'm going to have her do is just start to mobilize her hips and her pelvis, and this is mostly where a lot of the issues are. So Mercedes, I'm going to have you start by just pulling this back. We're going to do a few times, and then extend your leg out forward, and we're going to do that about 8 repetitions. And each time she's pulling back, she wants to feel a stretch in her lower back, and she wants to activate her abs. She's pressured down with her hands against the floor. She's propped her head up with a pillow, so this is in the biomechanically correct position. Let's do a couple more. Good. One more, and you can tell she's connected to her nervous system. She's sending information from her brain down here, and then she's going to switch sides. So go ahead and switch sides. Otro lado. See? Y. Good. Good. Pull back a little further. So each time you do the movement, you want to stretch a little bit further. So right now we're stretching the lower back. We're actually putting her in a pelvic tilt that's going to bring her pelvis into neutral. If you see my other videos, this is key to helping your back, because if you're in anterior or posterior pelvic tilt all the time, which just think of it as a cup, it's either forward or backward and it's pouring water out, then you are going to put stress on your lower back more. And so right now we're just mobilizing those muscles to put the spine back in neutral. Okay, and now switch legs, and we're going to do back in the starting position. Yep, we're going to do the single frog leg. So this one you're going to go here and then out to the side. So now, with this movement, we're now doing what we did in the first movement, which is mobilize the pelvis, but now we're stretching the inner thigh, we're activating the glutes, and this is going to mobilize the hip and stabilize the spine. So you keep your abs tight. Let's do one more and then switch sides. Good, and switch legs. So, para. Otro lado. Sí, cambio. Y, okay, yep. So now she's mobilizing the hip. So she's doing the same thing she did on the first movement, which is helping her stabilize the spine, strengthen the abs, and then mobilize the hips. So when we do this warm-up before we do the stretch we're about to do, she's going to feel much better. It's going to activate more of the stretch in the muscles, and therefore will decompress the spine, which is key to getting blood flow and nutrients and oxygen, and all the peripheral nerves that are connected to the spinal cord will function much better after we do this stretch. Okay, one more. All right, so now I'm going to have Mercedes roll onto your side and then sit up. Yep. And then siete. Y sí. Y en esta dirección. Y sí. All right, so now when you do this stretch, ideally you want your feet together, completely together, your ankles as close together as possible. You want to sit up as straight as possible. If you see she's leaning back, this is because her posterior chain is extremely tight, and if you see here, she's rounded, and this is all connected. So when we go deeper into this stretch, her posture will get better. She'll start to decompress the spine. Her neck will start to stand up straighter, and this will change everything in her life, literally, because this will change her thoughts, how she feels about herself, how she stands up. These are directly connected with neurotransmitters of the brain like serotonin and dopamine, and if your posture is out of whack, you will have out of whack neurotransmitters. So literally this makes you feel like a different person. So she's going to try and keep those legs as straight as possible. Sometimes we use a strap to wrap around the feet. She's going to lean forward, reaching for her toes. Good. And so hands here. And now we're going to push her head down. On a scale of 1 to 10. 1 entre 10. ¿Cómo tú sientes?
7.
Okay, so she is feeling like a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. You don't want to push too hard the first time. So I'm going to grab a strap for her to use real quickly. And we're going to do 3 sets of this. 3 sets. Okay, so now this helps keep her ankles together. And now she's able to put a little bit more force and bring your hands down even further. So if you have a belt or one of our stretching straps, you can go deeper into this stretch. So, yep. So head down. ¿Cómo tú sientes?
9.
9.
9.
Okay, and para. Okay. All right, so that's 2 times. We hold usually for about 10 seconds, depending on the person and where they're at. And again, this is very important that you do this warmed up. Like we're in hot weather right now, so we were warmed up to begin with. We're already sweating. If you're in cold weather, you want to do like a 10, 15-minute warm-up where you're sweating, your muscles are loose. The last thing you want to do is do this stretch on tight muscles, okay? Because you can actually exacerbate your issues if you don't do it correctly. Okay, last one we're going to do, and reach your arms even further this time. Sí. Y esta. Sí, entonces, un poco más. Y para. Entonces, all right, so I keep going in between Spanish and English. But, so, you'll see that she went further and further with each stretch. This is where the benefit comes from. With every single routine, there's a stimulus and a response. And anytime through repetition of that stimulus and response, we're going to get better and better usually if we're practicing it correctly. So for example, we do the first stretch, the body learns a new range of motion, we come back, and now it's prepared to go a little bit further into the next range of motion, and then we come back, and then we do it again. And then when you do that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you start to see the increase. So with every program, every training, there has to be a method that is done in a scientific way, and that's part of what we teach here through the back program is how to mobilize certain areas and how to stabilize certain areas and increase your flexibility and mobility in areas that you need it. And this is how we reach up into the neurology of the brain and start to, like a key, unlocking the issues that are there because everything comes from the brain. So she is in this posture and position because of repeated patterns that she's done in her life. So now we need to undo those patterns conscientiously and in a specific way to get her to where she wants to be. And we're on that path. She did the back program once yesterday, slept better, felt better, had a better posture, and so that's one time. So imagine consistently doing this program, how much different your life is going to be, how much better you're going to feel. So any questions, comments, go ahead and leave it below. Just this stretch here will stretch from the bottom of your feet to the top of your occipital protuberance, it's called, right up here. And most people have tons of stress up here. Tons of stress. They're locked up. They put all their energy here or in their lower back. So when you do this stretch repetitively, you're literally stretching from the bottom of your feet all the way up. Sometimes it takes days to get there because your hamstrings are so locked up that you might not be able to access any of these other muscles. But we're also stretching the fascia as well, or loosening the fascia, which is the connective tissue around the muscles, which really is where most of the problems lie. So any questions, comments, leave them below. I'd love to know where you're checking in from. Hope this helps. Hope you guys have a great day.